Thank you very much, Zina. Firstly, congratulations, Rassie, on your 50th game as a Springbok coach. Rassie, what do you make of Fabian Galtier's antics only allowing us, the media and public, 50 minutes to view their training sessions? This, of course, comes after the media or they made accusations. There were spies around their training camps. Moreover, and I'm sure you saw the French league team that you made public on Twitter before they actually announced it. Does it somehow add to the mind games with Gautier being anxious and you living rent-free in his thoughts?
No, not at all. I mean, I know Fabian. I played against him. I think the last match we played at was it Parc de France or something. I can't remember the correct name. I played in that game, and he was the scrum off there, so I know him for years. Actually, ironically enough, he came to well, not shadow. We had learned from each other at Munster. He shadowed us for a whole week, and he sat in every single meeting, team session, planning, coaches meetings in the morning, and after that, he became the French head coach, So, I think people take mind games from our side, definitely. Everything we do, people see it mind games. So, what I'm trying to do when I put a team out there, and if you check, I just put our team and our weights and our caps and stuff out of there. That's for communicating with our South African supporters and for them to get a little bit more depth and insight into what our team looks like and how it compares to their team. And I think the South African supporters are really into it and understand it, and the more you give them, the more they, the more they understand. So what they do in their camp really doesn't have an influence what we do in our camp. We play for South Africa for the Springboks, and we play away from home, and it will be a lonely place on that field. But we know there's millions of people in South Africa, so what they do is got no influence on how we prepare and how we do our things.
Brendan? Stian?
Thanks, Sina. Sorry. Hi, Rassie. So maybe just a bit about the selection, Rassie. Was this one of the more difficult teams to pick, given that so many guys are putting up their hands? And maybe just a thought about the front row with obviously Ox out, Bowen coming in there. Your thoughts behind that selection as well?
Yeah, I think very much. Hello. Very much the same like we did last week. Guy like Bowen has played already 5 test matches for us, and again to put him there with Malcolm and Thomas, we'll rather let him swim in this tough river here, which is a great field where it's if I almost said it the same with Zach when he played last weekend. You'd rather have him there in the start and see how he managed. We really rate Bowen highly. It's unfortunate that we lost Jan Hendrik being suspended, and then obviously also lost Ox. With off the ball tackle and unfortunately he's out for quite some time. Luckily Gerard is back, so certainly there was difficult choices. Leaving a guy like Ethan Hooker out of the mix, who's been really playing well. Kanan is really also playing well for us. When Krappies got his chance, he played awesome rugby. Quagga and Marco was 2 guys. Franco played excellent last week. So it's never easy to pick a team. But I think the team do understand that the guys know if things goes according to plan this weekend. Most of the guys know who's playing next week against Italy. So I think the squad is buying in what we're trying to do. Most important thing is now to try and get the result at a very tough stadium against a very good French team.
Zeker?
Ja.
Steven?
Thanks very much, guys. It's nice to see you. Cobus, obviously the emotion is quite heavy from France for this game, and I guess it's understandable, because of the quarterfinal. Is that, how do you guys handle that, what they're going to be throwing at you? Is that going to be tough for you to overcome, or do you take lessons maybe from the quarterfinal itself, where they were highly charged?
Yeah, I think they are going to be charged. They haven't forgotten about the 2023 World Cup, and so have we. We haven't forgotten about it as well. It's a rugby game which we all look back to. We all learn out of it and try and prepare for the following game. So yes, they're going to be charged up, but their emotion and what they have in their camp, like Rassie said, cannot affect us. It cannot affect our way of preparing for the game and putting our plan on the field. So we know they're coming physically or going to come physically at us, and we have to be ready for it. It's not it's not rocket science what is going to happen out there. It's going to be a huge battle.
Grant?
Thanks, Z. Russ, just a word on your 50th, Siya's 100th, and what you feel separates a good Springbok from a great one.
Yeah, my 50th is really not a big thing. I mean, we haven't even mentioned it. We saw it the other 2 days ago in the media. So, just to be part of the team for me is awesome, and part of being representing South Africa in whatever capacity it was in the past, from technical analyst to assistant coach to director of rugby. It's just really lekker to be in the Springbok environment with a lot of South Africans really behind us. So that's lekker. Siya's 100th test match, I think, there is only 9 guys that's played the 100th test match. I think he was on cap 25 when we picked him as captain. And yeah, the biggest thing that I can probably give him credit for, he's never always played brilliantly, because like all of us, your form dips and injury comes, and personal things happen to you, and sometimes you think of an injury, am I still good enough? Both World Cups he was doubtful right up until the World Cup, but you always sit with Cobus at 35 playing, probably 35 years old, playing probably the best rugby of his life, and so we're very proud of Siya. We're proud of being part of him reaching that milestone. But there's a lot of other guys that's close to milestones who's on 47 caps, 48 caps, 93 caps, 97 caps. So I think there's a lot of them that's going to come now. But at the end of the day, like Siya handled it and like Eben handled it, when those big milestones come, if you make those things bigger than the match, then you normally tend to come second in that match. So his humbleness is something that's just a standout for me always.
Mike?
And what separates a good Springbok from a great one?
It's understanding that, well, my opinion, I've not to say I'm right, I think there's a difference between playing for yourself because you're a Springbok and when you're playing for your country because you're a Springbok. And I think that's why some guys get 1-2 caps who's really potential, really maybe better than guys who's sitting here. And we've said it to the player often, I think there's better players than playing out there who's currently here in the squad. But some guys just don't get it, that it's about the team and about South Africa and not about how good am I in the team. Yes, when you do it for the team to perform well, and you do everything and you serve the team, I probably think that's the difference between, there can be great potential, but some guys just don't get it. I was one of them when I was a player on stage, and some guys it takes time to get it, and some guys just get it from the start. So I think that makes, in my opinion, the difference between a good and a great Springbok player.
Mike?
Rassie, you kind of answered what I was going to ask, but just, we've seen that these big milestone games can sometimes result in sideshows and distractions. Is that something you guys have discussed?
Yeah, well, so, Eben got his 100th and Billy got his 100th, and we managed to get through those. Obviously, we're playing tougher opposition. Ari Savia's 100th at Eden Park, they managed to handle well and still beat us there with 7 points or whatever. So nothing has changed in our preparation. I think the only thing that will be different, Siya is going to run out 10 seconds earlier, and that's it. And then the test match starts. So we don't like to make a big thing about that. Afterwards, at the little team function, we'll probably do something proper. But no, Siya is probably one of the guys. I've seen him throughout winning World Cups and British and Irish Lions and reaching other milestones. He's got a level head on him, and the whole team understands that. Nobody's going to be happy. We might lose even if we perform well, but as long as we go out there and the effort is there and the performance is there, but yeah, that will definitely not distract us.
Last question online, Kaniso.
Thank you very much, Zina. Good afternoon, gentlemen at the top table. Quick two-pronged question, Rassie. Firstly, just to talk us through Kwaga's absence from the match day 23, and just talk us through Siya the human being. Just Siya, not the right player, but Siya the human being.
Yeah, I don't know quite what more to say about Siya as a human being. Uh, yes, to sum it up, hopefully I get it across this time, is it's just his way to stay humble. You know, when there's photographs taken or at the airport or wherever, he's always the guy that still goes there, even though you're on your way to a flight or late for a meeting, or you must get into the lift to a team meeting. You know, he might be a minute or so late, but I think whenever he gets a chance, he tries to connect with South Africa because he understands what South Africa is about, and he's been on the tough side of being a South African, and he's grown into being one of the great leaders in South Africa. But just the humbleness with the way he does that, and the way he always has time from a young laddie to an old woman of the farm, or uncle there from the townships, or old lady at the airport. Our whole team, I think, is pretty good at that. Not because they think it's their job, it's because they enjoy being part of South Africa and the way the South African supports us. And I think Siya leads in that specific way. What was the other part of your question? Sorry.
Kwaga, his absence from the
No,
23.
Kwagga has a bit of a hand issue, but that's not really why we didn't pick him. He actually came through in the beginning of the week. He had a bit of a contusion, or I don't know what's the right English word, on his hand, on his palm, on his wrist.
Yeah.
But we just think, with the team we thought they are going to pick, we think this is the best team for us to have a 6-2 split. But if this is a game that we feel is going to be really fast, they have some young guys in the team. Kwagga certainly has that energy, but we feel safe in Andre covering 12 for us as well, and covering 6 for us, and we know Siya can move to 8, or Pieter Steff can move to 8 in the game for us. So Kwagga understands why this team we think is a team which we're going to try and beat the French with.